Last year, I became a liquid millionaire at the age of 22. But just a few years before that, I was literally a gaming addict, nerd, loser. In today's video, I'm gonna run you through just how bad my addiction was, and then I'm gonna tell you how I turned it around and why I actually think that being a gaming addict is one of the best foundations that you can have to build a business and to achieve success as a young guy or a girl in 2025. Now look, when I say addiction, I'm not talking about a couple hours here and there. I'm talking about 8, 9, 10 hours straight, you know, running home from the school bus just to get on the game and not talking to anyone, not socializing, literally just obsessing over a game. And the game in question is a game called Rust. And if you played PC games or you played any sort of video games growing up, you might have heard of Rust. It's a very successful game. It's very big. And I didn't just play Rust either. I played Fortnite. I played Warzone. I played everything. I played Call of Duty 4. I've been playing COD since Modern Warfare 1. So, you know, throughout my childhood, I was always playing games. I always loved video games. And even to this day, now that I'm successful, I bought myself probably the best gaming PC that money can buy. And I rarely even game, but I just wanted to have it because, you know, growing up, it was always a dream of mine to have a sick gaming PC. And all my rich friends in school, their parents would buy them these sick PCs, but I was stuck playing at like 10 FPS on an 11-inch MacBook Air. But anyway, I was so addicted to games. And I'm not shitting, like, I shit you not. I would play for like 12 hours straight till 4 a.m., sleep for 3 hours, wake up for the school bus, get on the bus, go to school, talk with my friends about the game that we were playing last night, get back on the school bus, go home, straight on the game. I remember there was even periods where like my neighbor, they had a son who was the same age as me, and he wanted to hang out with me and he wanted to meet me, and I must have been like 14 or 15. And he came over and he would like ring the doorbell and ask my mom like, hey, is he home? I want to hang out. Like, where is he at? And my mom would come to my room and be like, hey, you should go play with the neighbor's son. And I would be like, nah, fuck that. I'm trying to game. And looking back, that's kind of an L. I should have been socializing more. I should have been playing outside more. Don't get me wrong. The peak of my gaming addiction was around 14, 15. By the time I grew a little bit older, I wasn't spending all my time on games. And growing up, I wasn't a loser. Like, I mean, some of my friends from school might watch this video. If you knew me in school, you'll remember that I was really social. I was always making jokes. I was always doing dumb shit with my friends. So it's not like I was the awkward, anxious type growing up. I never was that guy. But one thing for sure that I was at one point in my life was a literal addict when it came to gaming, to the point where, like, you know, it caused a lot of tension between me and my parents growing up because they were like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? He games so much. When I look at my Steam profile, I literally have like 7,000 hours on one game, which is fucking crazy. That's 7,000 hours that I spent hunched over a fucking desk like a nerd playing Rust. What kind of fucking loser does that? Me. But now I'm in a Lamborghini and I just came back from the beach, which is right there, and my house is 200 meters down the road. And I was lazy to walk because I walked here in the morning to swim, and I haven't showered in 4 fucking days because I have a beach right here and I prefer to go in the beach to shower. And honestly, my skin looks better than ever and my hair's been growing back super thick. But anyway, I'm gonna pick this video up back home. All right, I'm back home, so let's pick up where I left off. The types of games I was playing growing up, they weren't just like casual side scrollers. I was playing a lot of Fortnite, which has a super high skill ceiling. I was playing Warzone, same story, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, all of them. I was playing Battlefield. I would play a lot of console growing up, and then when I became a little bit older, in my teenage years, I started playing more PC. When I started gaming on PC, that's when I started to realize just how high the skill ceiling is in some video games. Now, the video game that I have the most hours in is a game called Rust, and I would say lifetime. I mean, I used to cheat, so I have multiple accounts that have been banned in that game, but overall on all my accounts, I probably have like 8,000 hours, if not 10,000. The crazy part to me is just imagine where you would be if you spent 8,000 hours on anything. Literally anything. Because look, I became a millionaire last year and I for sure have not worked 8,000 hours on my businesses, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a minute, but I haven't worked that much. I probably work like maybe, I don't know, 30 hours a week. Some days I'll do like a 4-hour long session, but I've never worked that long. If you spend 8,000 hours trying to become an amazing plus copywriter, then you would probably be one of the best copywriters in the world, up there with, you know, the greatest of all time. If you spend 8,000 hours from the age of 14 to 20 boxing, you would definitely be a world-class athlete right now. And that's regardless of genetics. I mean, of course, to become a world champion in boxing or MMA or an Olympic gold medalist in freestyle wrestling, you probably need to be born with something special. But in order to get to that top 1% level, as long as you're not mentally disabled, physically disabled, and your IQ is high enough and your genetics are decent enough, you can probably get to the top 1% level just by starting early and putting in more hours than everyone else. You can literally apply that to, you know, almost anything. But anyway, back to my point. I spent so many hours playing video games, and that's what led to me becoming successful, because I wasn't just playing casually. I was actively trying to improve, and I was studying everything about the game. I was keeping up with the market. I was watching YouTube gameplay. I was doing everything I could to improve. I was watching YouTube walkthroughs. I was watching tutorials, guides. I would dedicate so many hours to just improving and becoming slightly better just by 1% every single day. Now, why was I doing that? Honestly, I don't know. You could say it's because I was trying to escape from a reality that I didn't want to be in, which is honestly true. You know, whenever someone's addicted, it's because they're trying to escape something. Whenever someone uses substances or games or porn or anything as a crutch, it's because they're trying to escape. And that's the case with me growing up. I wanted to escape. I wanted to change my reality. And, you know, it just took me a bit of time, because at some point I realized that there was way more to life than playing video games, and that I needed to get my shit together, because if I didn't, I would have ended up on the conveyor belt of, you know, university students in the UK who are in shit unis where, like, you can get into these unis with like 3 C's at A levels, studying stupid shit like business management, with no clear path forward in life, a bunch of debt, and then as soon as you finish uni, your first job is going to be paying you like 1,000 or like 3,000 pounds a month. So I was literally fucking like that was my prospect, right? Because obviously I had fighting too. I started boxing when I was 12 and I started wrestling when I was 13. And honestly, at one point I wanted to be a professional MMA fighter. That's where I saw my life going. And I think if I didn't, you know, succeed in business, I would still be working on that right now. And I probably could have achieved a decent career knowing myself and knowing what I'm capable of and knowing everything I know about recovery and lifestyle, etc. But honestly, I don't want to get punched in the face. I don't even like striking. I just prefer grappling. But yeah, that's a different story. So really, I had no other prospect in life except for go be a fucking NPC, go to uni, and have a shit life and just hate myself and, you know, just feel so insignificant and like such a loser. Like basically just an NPC, which I could never imagine myself doing. My second option was, okay, try make like a few grand a month, move to America or move to Canada, go train at TriStar Gym with Firas Zahabi. And for those who don't know, Firas Zahabi is GSP's head coach, and GSP is considered like the greatest fighter of all time by some. And really, those were my only 2 options. And, you know, I feel like gaming was just my escape from reality. And both of those options are kind of shit. I mean, yeah, who the fuck wants to be an MMA fighter? Because think about it. Unless you're a contender in either the featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, or middleweight division, your life is going to be shit. Those are the only 4 divisions that are actually lit in the UFC or in MMA in general. And to get to the top 10 in the UFC is a crazy amount of work. You have to eat shit for like 10 years or even more, 20 years some of these guys have been training. And then they get to that level and they're getting paid like maybe $1 million a year. They fight twice a year, make $500K a fight. So in fact, they don't even make $1 million. They might make $500,000 for every fight, but then they got to pay their manager and their coach and their team and, you know, expenses and family. So really, they're fucking broke. And they put in all that work. They have all this fame and they're still broke. So, you know, I realized that too. I was like, fuck being an MMA fighter. That's kind of shit. I really had no choice but to just stop gaming and start, you know, working. So that's exactly what I did when I was 14 or even younger, maybe 13. I think I was in year 9 or year 8. I started a dropshipping store with my friend. Obviously it failed, but I always had this kind of in the back of my mind because even from very young, I was smart enough to recognize that I am not going to enjoy my life if I end up going to uni and being a normie. And I don't enjoy school enough to put in the work to actually study. Because don't get me wrong, if you get accepted into like a top 1% uni, like Cambridge or Oxford or something like that, or one of those crazy unis in America, fair play, I respect you. You worked really hard and you're going to be very successful depending on what you studied. But if you're going to some like University of Brighton, you're fucked. Like really, you have no prospects in your life in terms of, you know, getting a job that's gonna really change your life. This might sound superficial, but even when I was super young, I wanted to be rich. It's like one of my main goals was like, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to do cool shit. I grew up around it, but I was always just, you know, one step removed from it because of my family and friends and whatever. So it was just a desire I always had from as young as I can remember. That plus the fact that my life was pretty tough growing up. Moved around a lot. I had to make new friends all the time, go to new schools, financial stuff with my family. We struggled. All of that combined, and I just started to escape by playing these games. So yeah, that's kind of like the backstory or the lore of how I went from a gaming addict to a millionaire, kind of. But the funny thing is if you're in a similar position to I was, or, you know, maybe you're my age, I'm 23, maybe you watching this, you're between 18 and 30 years old and you're a guy or a girl, whatever. It doesn't matter how old you are, it's not too late to change things, and it's not too late to turn things around. Just because I started early doesn't mean you can't start now and still achieve similar or more success than me over a longer period of time. That's not the case at all, so don't be discouraged. Because at the end of the day, even though I was addicted to playing video games and stuff, and I spent tens of thousands of hours doing that, when you really boil it down, you realize that life is literally a game in and of itself. You have a character, which is this physical body of mine, and this physical body will literally die one day, and everybody's gonna forget about this physical body. This body is not me, it's my character. And my character, I get to influence what my character does. I get to increase my character's XP. I get to level him up, or her, if you're a girl watching this. I get to level my character up. I get to, you know, go to different countries, travel, unlock new parts of the map, meet new people, make better connections, improve my skill set, become stronger, healthier, increase my stamina. It's literally a game. And as long as you're not senile, as long as you're not disabled, you literally have all the same freedom to do exactly what I just mentioned, which is level up your character, right? And that's why I personally think that if you played a lot of video games growing up, then you're in a prime position to actually achieve success in the real world. Because whatever success you're achieving in that game, what you must realize is that you literally have a game, like your life is a game. Everything is a game. And the only difference is, you know, or you could even liken it to a UFC, you know? One of my really successful friends told me this, and it always stuck. I don't know why, but he told me, life is literally like the UFC, except there's no drug testing, there's no board, and there's no rules. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And I just find that super interesting. Another thing I've noticed as well is that a lot of my friends who are very successful at a young age are also gaming addicts, or if not addicts, they play a lot of games, or they played growing up, you know? I know 18-year-olds who are worth probably multiple 8 figures. I know 22-year-olds who are worth 9 figures. And these guys all have one thing in common, which is that they played games growing up. One of my best friends, he was like the 3rd best Fortnite player in Asia. And now he's making 70 grand a month at 21 years old running an agency. So there really is something to be said. And there's definitely a correlation between successful young entrepreneurs and gaming during childhood. Now, here's an important point, right? The games I was playing growing up had an extremely high skill ceiling. And what I mean by that is that a player with 300 hours, which might seem like a lot, but a player with 300 hours in CSGO, for example, will get shat on by a player with 3,000 hours. And a player with 3,000 hours will get shat on by a player with 12,000 hours. That's just how the game goes. And it's the same in real life. In life, the skill ceiling is literally unlimited. And when you're choosing a career or you're choosing a business model, you want to become successful, you should optimize for something with an extremely high skill ceiling. One example of that is copywriting, which is exactly what made me successful at, 23 or 22 or 21. Because keep in mind, I've been making money online as a copywriter since I was literally 18. At the age of 18 or maybe even 19, basically, it was the year after I finished school, I took a gap year. But around that time is when I closed my first deal. £3,000 a month. And I remember sitting on the sales call when I named my price to the client, literally sweating, and the client was like, okay, no problem, we'll pay it. That was a crazy moment for me because as soon as that £3,000 landed in my bank account, I instantly bought my dad a new computer because he needed one. And growing up, he always bought me anything I needed within, his means. He would never say no as long as it was within our means. So I always had so much respect for him, and that's why the first thing I did when I got paid is buy him a new computer. Fast forward to now, and I really take care of my family. A new computer is nothing to my dad. I bought him a Rolex last year. I take care of the mortgage. I take care of rent. I take care of, buying cars for my family members when they need a car, paying off all the debts. And that's all because I learned how to write copy. And copywriting, just like the games I would play growing up, has a very high skill ceiling. And what I mean by that is that you, a beginner or intermediate, are probably going to get shat on by somebody who's been doing this for 10 years. That's just how it is. But that shouldn't discourage you because whenever something has a very high skill ceiling, it usually means there's a very high income ceiling too, which means the amount of money you could make is much higher. You just have to be good. But here's the thing. In 2025, with artificial intelligence, the entire game has changed. It's no longer about how many hours or how many years of experience you have. You can literally shortcut your way to success as a copywriter using artificial intelligence. And I personally believe that over the next 24 months, we are looking at an opportunity to literally cram like 3 decades of career building and experience into just 2 years with AI. And after that, AI is going to be mass adopted. It's not going to be special anymore. People are going to be able to tell that you're using AI, etc. And I genuinely think this is going to go down in history books because the wealth transfer that AI is going to create for young guys and girls like me and you is insane. Now, if you want to get involved in this wealth transfer and you want to be part of that small group of people who use AI and the best SOPs to basically fast track their entire career and escape whatever shit life you may or may not be living right now and earn 6 figures by the end of the year, then I have the perfect opportunity for you. In just 5 days from the time I'm recording this video, so by the time you see this video, it's probably 1 or 2 days, but in 5 days from now, I'm hosting a free live training where I will literally be there on the call for an hour and a half, running you through how to start copywriting with AI in 2025. The market I'm going to show you is not flooded. There's not a ton of competition, and it's extremely easy to get your first client. And I would know because I run a multi-7-figure marketing agency in the most competitive copywriting niche ever. So I can really say with confidence that this market that you're going to learn about in the free training is untapped. And when you add artificial intelligence into the mix, it becomes objectively the best opportunity to make 6 figures a year in 2025. And even more. And keep in mind, I'm not pulling these numbers out of thin air. You can literally see on the screen multiple examples of people who use this free live training to make 6 figures. And if you want to learn more, click the link in the description and register for the free live training. Make sure you get in before it's too late because I'm only hosting these once every few months. They take up a lot of my time and mental bandwidth, so I only do them every few months. So make sure you don't miss this. It's completely free, no strings attached. Go check it out. Link is in the description. To kind of conclude this video, I think the main learning points or the main takeaways are, first of all, if you're a gaming addict or, you're addicted to something, don't see it as a bad thing necessarily, because all that means is that you're capable of obsessing over something, and all you need to do is change what you're obsessed with. And if you change what you're obsessed with into something that's productive, then you can change your life very quickly. The second thing you have to remember is that life is literally a game, and you are a character in this game. Now, when I say you, I'm not talking to your physical body. I'm talking to you, the person watching this. Not your physical self, but the self that's inside of your character. The self that makes decisions. Remember, life's a game. And you can increase your XP. You can level up. You can change everything. You can even cheat. You can get unfair advantages. You can get access to information that nobody else has. You can go against the grain. Remember, life's literally a game, so you can achieve whatever you want. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, and finally, I'll say it one last time, make sure that you sign up for my free live training. Link is in the description. Don't miss out. Thank you.